Sally Field, the beloved Oscar-winning actress known for her roles in classics like Forrest Gump, Norma Ray, and Steel Magnolias, has always been seen as one of Hollywood's most gracious and professional stars. With decades of experience and a career marked by critical acclaim and admiration, Field has rarely spoken negatively about anyone in the industry. However, during a recent sit-down conversation reflecting on her career, Sally surprised many when she finally opened up about a few actors she simply couldn't get along with, and, in her own words, tried to avoid working with at all costs. She began by acknowledging that most of her career was filled with incredible collaborators. "I've been lucky," she said, "to work with some of the most generous, talented people in the business. But that doesn't mean every experience was a good one. Some actors brought energy to the set that was difficult, to say the least." One of the first names she revealed, without much hesitation, was a leading man from the 1980s, whom she described as charming on camera but insufferably arrogant off it. According to Field, he often dismissed the crew, made rude jokes during takes, and constantly interrupted scenes with ad-libs that didn't match the tone of the script. "It was exhausting," she said. "He thought he was the smartest person in every room. He wasn't." Though she didn't name the film directly, many speculated that she was referring to a well-known romantic drama from the early part of that decade. Another actor on her list was someone Field worked with during the 1990s. She described him as cold and deeply method, rarely speaking to her outside of scenes and frequently ignoring her input during rehearsals. "I respect method acting," she clarified. "But when it becomes an excuse to treat your co-stars like props, it stops being about art and starts being about ego." She recalled how uncomfortable the environment on set became, particularly because many of the cast and crew tiptoed around the actor, fearing he'd walk off set or have an outburst. Field didn't just criticize their attitudes, she made it clear that her frustration stemmed from their lack of collaboration and their disregard for the team dynamic. "I don't expect to be best friends with everyone," she said. "But we're all there to create something together. When someone makes that impossible, it affects the entire production." Interestingly, Field also shared how one of these strained professional relationships taught her a valuable lesson in asserting herself. "There was a day when I was completely fed up," she said. "I told him, flat out, 'You're not the only person working here.' I think it shocked him. Maybe no one had ever said that to him before." Despite the tension she described with those few co-stars, Field balanced her honesty with grace. She made it clear that naming these people wasn't about revenge or bitterness. "I'm not saying this to start drama," she said. "I'm saying it because I think honesty matters. Younger actors, especially women, need to know it's okay to speak up when someone's making the work environment toxic." Toward the end of her interview, Field reflected on how these experiences shaped her. "Every tough moment taught me something," she said. "I learned how to stand my ground. I learned what kind of leader I wanted to be when I had the chance to direct or produce. And most of all, I learned that talent never excuses bad behavior." The interview quickly made headlines. While many tried to guess the identities of the actors Field alluded to, fans were largely supportive of her candidness. Social media lit up with praise, calling her brave, honest, and long overdue in sharing her side of the story. "She's a legend," one user wrote. "And if she didn't name names, it's because she still has more class than most." Sally Field's decision to speak out, even without pointing fingers too directly, was a reminder that even in an industry driven by image and politeness, authenticity still has a place. Her words carried the weight of decades of experience, and her message was clear: no matter how big the spotlight, respect and humility should never be optional.